Sherri Shepherd, you're nobody's role model. You're not even a mentor. A mentor would never allow someone like Johnathon Majors sit next to them and use them in the way that he did you. You can't be nobody's role model, let alone a mentor. Let's start there.
Y'all already know what time it is. I got the black V-neck on.
We got to talk about Sherri Shepherd. And let me tell you something. When I get done with Sherri Shepherd, she's going to be shepherd's pie. Sherri Shepherd, for you to think that God made Wendy Williams sick to give you a TV show is laughable. Like, that is your legacy. That Wendy Williams had to get to the point where she could not be on her own show anymore for you to get where you are. You've not had any iconic moments or anything memorable on this show since you platformed Johnathon Majors. That is your legacy. Nobody is talking about anything else. Nobody is interested in these things. Yeah, people are watching because people got to get their nails done and their toes done and they got to have something playing in the background. But you are not making any memorable moments at all. The closest you have is you crying next to Johnathon Majors as he goes on his apologetic abuser tour and use you in the process. You are talking about being a role model and a mentor towards women and black women. You went on the Breakfast Club that is known for disrespecting black women, period. And then disrespected another black woman and said, hey, I just had to be the auntie and tell these women that they got to be a better role model. First and foremost, for you to be out here making it seem as though Megan Thee Stallion needs to be a better role model or a mentor towards young girls makes no sense considering the music that Megan Thee Stallion makes. So you're going to tell her to cover up, but the music that she's making is still what you would not let a child listen to. You are arguing that women need to cover up. What you're saying is not something new. It's not revolutionary. It's not something that's never been said. You are not changing the game. You're not well read. You're not well studied. You're not anything. You're not even a journalist, to be honest. What you are trying to do is make yourself feel like you are accomplished by stepping on others. You are not awarded or even afforded the title of auntie. It has to come with wisdom, and you have none of that. I don't know if you're covering the grays up or whatever, but you do not have any wisdom at all. Because if you had wisdom, you would have not allowed Johnathon Majors to sit next to you. You don't have it. You talk slow. You might move your hands, but the wisdom is lacking. You being an auntie and a mother and a mentor doesn't give what you think it is. And what you said about, oh, I love Megan Thee Stallion. I now see why Nia Long snatched you up on their carpet and asked you what was going on. I now see that. The black women who are around you and can touch you don't even like you like that. A black woman pulled you to the side and called you out for the behavior and things that you were doing. You're wanting to be a gossip blogger on this TV show and then want to be a mentor makes absolutely no sense to me. You use your platform to basically step on a black woman. You basically just enacted patriarchal violence, if we're being honest. That's basically what you did. You getting on this platform and saying these things that women need to cover up. That's basically what you said. If I can remember from the video footage I've seen of Johnathon Majors, I think that the white woman that Johnathon Majors was talking to was covered up and she didn't have any pasties on. And yet she still experienced what she experienced with Johnathon Majors and then sat on your couch. How are you a mentor towards women and then allow a person who abuses women to come sit on your couch? 2 + 2 is what? Like, I know you know basic math, basic arithmetic or something, but I don't know because I don't think you have any analytical skills because you are nobody's mentor. You are a person that has a TV show and people watch it. Yes, some folks might look up to you because they look up to celebrities, period. That doesn't mean that you are a mentor. That doesn't mean that you have the right to be a mentor. You are just famous. That's it. But what are you famous for? For you to know ahead of time that you were going to receive backlash and still did not refine and think about what you said, like you would have known that you're not saying anything different. You're not saying anything different than what Erykah Badu said years ago about black girls being in schools and needing to cover up. It does not matter what women do. They're still going to experience these things. Who are the people who are responsible for that? Why do women have to cover up? Why do women have to do that? That's the question you need to be asking. Why do you need to cover up? What does that mean? You are what, 40 something years old in this young girl's business, telling young girls to cover up, and we're seeing reproductive rights being snatched back. Girl, what are you talking about right now? What are you talking about right now? You're not saying anything. You're not saying anything. Like, you're making a demographic feel better about themselves because they have aged out. And it's no shade, because this happened repeatedly. You are no different than the other women who've said, you need to wear a girdle, you need to cover up before Uncle Mero or somebody come up. You are no different. If we leave it up to you, we'll still be in girdles. Because at what point is covering up going to save women? You're talking no different than the men that we've seen in documentaries time and time again, talking about women needing to cover up and women are not being women anymore. And then using that same language to take advantage of them. Like, you are not trying to be a mentor saying things like this. You can't be. I know the words are coming out your mouth, but they're not coming out your brain. Can't be. Because you're not thinking straight. You're not thinking straight. And for you to say that you are using this platform, let's say you have a platform because you do, because you're famous. You then went and did a movie with Tyler Perry who disrespected another black woman in the industry that you are in. Disrespected her and got her blacklisted and never apologized. That's your legacy. Sitting next to Tyler Perry because you got a check. A sellout that wants to call themselves a mentor towards women. You got to be joking. And I know you're a comedian, so stick to that. Because none of this ain't making no sense to me. Like, it's not making any sense to me for you to use your platform and say something like that. For you to get on the Breakfast Club that is notoriously known, that is known for these type of ideologies. Like, for you to say that you pay attention to the comments and you do your research, for you to sit up on this platform knowing the history of the Breakfast Club, so much to the point that a black woman had to leave the show and two other ones were fighting to hold a spot while the two men laughed about it. You sat on that platform and said, taking it too far, and they're going to run with that. They're now going to feel justified and use what you say to now, yeah, these women do. You are no different than Kevin Samuels. You just don't identify as a man, but you definitely identify as a misogynist, if we're being honest, because this is what it's giving. It's giving internalized misogyny. Patriarchy is smacking you down, sister. It's smacking you down. And the audacity for you to get on here talking about God bless. I can't take it serious. You got this job because Wendy Williams got diagnosed with something. Wendy Williams had to leave the Wendy Williams show because she got sick. She had health problems. That is why she had to quit the show. That is why she had to leave the show. So basically what you're arguing is God allowed that to happen so you can have a show. And you're not even entertaining us anywhere close to Wendy Williams. We're not even getting the same moments as Wendy Williams. So, I mean, if we're going to say that, like, he must have been busy that day because ain't no way in the hell he made all of this happen just for you to have a show just to spit on women. The problem with folks like Sherri Shepherd is they feel like it's their job. Like, you feel it's your job to, I got to say something.
Where's anybody else covering this? If I'm not here and I don't put this out, the public would not know nothing. I'm the one that's putting it out.
The thing that you need to be realizing, because they told you, having this platform comes with responsibility, which means you need to make sure that what you're saying makes sense. And it ain't hitting on nothing with Senator Ford, okay? It ain't hitting on nothing. What you saying, it ain't hitting.
What you're saying ain't hitting on nothing. And you guys need to get better. And you need to get more educated.
You talking about this platform is so important, and yet you used it to say what? What are you saying, sister? That Megan Thee Stallion needs to cover up? You're not the first black woman to say that. There have been several men who have said that and still have done disrespectful things to black women and harmed them in the process. You're not saying anything revolutionary. You're not changing anything. You're not even taking advantage of this little platform that you have. And I feel like people think that because they have been granted this, that God is looking out for them. God is making a way. God is doing. You are nobody's prophet, let alone a pastor. First and foremost, if we want to be honest, you probably wouldn't even be sitting on the church pew. We being honest. You wouldn't be sitting at the top. According to that, if we're being honest, like, you are talking about this platform and how important it is. And I think it is important when you do have an audience to say things that make sense, but you're not doing that. You use your platform to tell a woman to cover up. Did you call Megan Thee Stallion and have a conversation with her? Because you're a celebrity, y'all run in the same circles. If it was that important, why didn't you call or pull her to the side and say that? Cut the mess. You knew that you were going to get attention by it. You knew that, and you still did it. You didn't study it. You didn't go and say, let me make sure I'm doing my homework. You're too busy looking at the hate comments. You need to be reading the books that will tell you they hate what you're saying, because you're not saying anything new or refreshing. We're still thirsty, which is why we're not watching your show, which is why you're not having viral moments on social media. You're not having moments that are iconic on your show because you're not saying anything, girl. You're just having a conversation. You're a little bit better than Jennifer Hudson. Y'all ain't really doing nothing. It's folks on TikTok that's eating content up left and right on YouTube, Instagram, all of the things, making content without all the producers and stuff. Y'all got all this stuff and you still can't produce anything of quality. The only thing y'all producing is allowing folks like Johnathon Majors to come and use y'all platform to erase any thought about what the things that he's been doing. That's it. You didn't have any questions or smoke for him. You didn't, because it wasn't about that. So you don't have the power, or you got the audacity, I don't know why, to then critique or say something to Megan Thee Stallion when you got a whole man sitting next to you who needs that smoke and you had none of it. You had none of the smoke for him. Man sitting right next to you that needs to smoke and you ain't got none of it. None of it. It wasn't even powerful enough that snippets from it made the waves on social media because there was nothing there. Nothing was there. Dirt and grass. That's it. Nothing was there. You didn't eat him up. And this is not your first time. You do this over and over again, and you want to wear the title as a proud auntie. You're embarrassing the actual aunties that care about black girls in this world. Like, you're embarrassing. Are you not embarrassed? Because this is embarrassing. You can't call yourself an auntie. You're not giving auntie vibes. You're not giving that. I'm not going to allow you to use auntie in this. This is not even auntie behavior. This is grandma, we need to go ahead and take you to the shed behavior. That's what it's giving. Because you're so far removed from reality, we got to let you go, sister. You're a danger to yourself and everybody else. We got to get you out of here. This ain't auntie behavior. This ain't you messed up the mac and cheese. This is you saying stupid stuff with a big platform and then going on several other platforms and then saying even stupid mess and doubling down on it. Hello? And then to try to get her here like you a prophet and speak to Lauren. Yeah, I see vision for you. I see you. Girl, let me tell you something. The way y'all stuff work, girl, stay away from me. Because the way you got access to a woman had to get sick and had to leave her job. So whatever magic you doing, I don't want a part of it. If I got to sacrifice somebody else to get to where I'm at, I don't want it. I don't want it. But yes, I just find it just comical that Sherri Shepherd, Miss Shepherd Pie, really thought that she was really eating Sandy's. Like, you really thought that you were like, really, I'm about to gag him with this one. Y'all need to cover up. Woo! Like, y'all need to cover up. 9/11. Like, girl, you're giving Lois Griffin 9/11. Woo! And they ate that up. There was several crumbs left because you didn't finish. You thought you finished the plate, but you definitely left a lot on the table. Okay, the same table sitting next to Tyler Perry. And again, as I have said, if Tyler Perry was so influential in all of these things, why has he not been able to give his power to another black woman so she can be able to build other black women up? Sherri Shepherd, you're nobody's mentor. You're nobody's role model, girl. You're not doing any of these things. Just because you say it doesn't mean that it's a thing. It's not happening. It won't happen, girl. You have a TV show. We listen to it, but we definitely judging because you ain't giving us nothing that we ain't heard before. If anything, I wish Wendy Williams would come back and take your job because you ain't doing nothing with it. You need to be at the unemployment line, if we being honest, because the show ain't getting the hits. It's not getting the clicks. Like, yeah, it's still on. They got to air something. Somebody got to take the job. We got to get somebody. We got to shoot somebody in. But girl, if this is a blessing, child, keep it away from me. That's all I got. We got to do better with this. Like, we have got to do better when it comes to stuff like this. Like, you cannot sit up here and be telling women to cover up or they need to be role models. First of all, Megan Thee Stallion has not asked to be a role model. She is an almost 30-year-old female rapper that makes music that is supposed to be for people 18 and up. So putting her in role model doesn't even make any sense. Like, they need to be finding some Disney or whatever. Like, girl, Megan Thee Stallion is not here to be a role model. The girls listen to her and they are entertained by her, but that doesn't mean that she is a role model. And it doesn't mean that a girl covers up or do this. You talking about security. You talking about these girls don't have security. And girl, what are you saying? Why do they need security? Who is coming to put their hands on them? The same man that you sat and interviewed and had a conversation with and allowed him to use your platform. Girl, shut up.